Hey everybody, it's Ian. Now I don't know much. Here's something I do know. We give away the best of ourselves. To people, to circumstances, to jobs, to shit that we just don't want to do. And we do it all of the time out of a sense of obligation, out of a sense of requirement. Because, well, if I don't do this, then that person will feel X. You know what? You're not in charge of how they feel. You're in charge of how you feel. And so when you constantly give your energy away, when you give away the time that you don't want to give away on a continuous basis, what you're telling yourself is that you don't matter. You constantly are telling yourself that you're less important than everybody else, which is absolute bullshit. It's just bullshit because guess what? You matter. You matter. And you know what? If you don't tell yourself that, if you don't have that intrinsic understanding, hear me now. You need to have people in your life that are telling you this, that you matter, that your time matters and that you're important. And if you don't, then you need to get rid of those fucking people because they are not worth your time. Now that's hard. You're like, oh, well, my mom, my dad, my brother, my family, what the fuck ever. Yeah, they're family. And maybe your family needs to be taught a lesson. Maybe your family needs to learn that, guess what? You're more valuable than they're perceiving you to be. Now, that can be a hard lesson. That can be a painful lesson. And maybe, hopefully, that lesson is learned and actions are changed. But if they're not, I challenge you to think or to be or to feel or to experience what your life would be like when you're surrounded. Just close your eyes for a second. Now imagine you're surrounded by people who, one, actually care about you, two, want the best for you, and here's the kicker, three, act in accordance with those things. They act in accordance. Their actions are in accordance with what they say and how you feel. Right? Like that is a fucking game changer. When you're around those people and you're giving those kind of people your energy, man, everything's different. Everything changes. How you feel, how you wake up, how you walk, how you look at yourself, how you look at other people, how you perceive other circumstances. Everything starts to change when you start to understand that you're valuable, one, and that two, that how you perceive yourself as valuable is oftentimes predicated on the people that you've surrounded yourselves with. If they don't see themselves as valuable, it becomes a negative downward spiral. So I challenge you to find people who build you up, who are valuable. And when I say they're valuable, that they perceive themselves as valuable. And when they perceive themselves as valuable, they have the capacity, oftentimes, not every time, for you to be perceived as valuable as well. And what that starts to teach you, what that can teach you, what that can open your eyes to, is that it doesn't have to always be the way it's always been. That things can be different. That your life is not what it's always been. Your past does not have to be your future. And when you start to understand, man, when you open your eyes to the reality that your time is finite, more than that your energy is finite, that who you give it to, when it's reciprocated, becomes like an exponential increase in value. And that value is emotional positivity, value to the world at large. Man, it changes everything when you start to understand. More than that, you may understand it, but if you don't act in accordance with the value that you have, that you are intrinsically without anything changing, that you are where you are today with nothing changing, that you're valuable, you can change the perception that you have on how am I spending my time? Who am I spending my time with? What are my actions? How am I showing up in this beautiful fucking world or this game that we call life? How am I showing up? And in that, it's how do I, not even so much how do I want to be remembered? That's something that goes through my mind, but it's what am I leaving? What is the path that my day-to-day actions lead? Am I leaving breadcrumbs of positivity or am I sowing seeds of despair? And you know what, for me, there is only one answer, that I will leave the world a better place than I have found it. And that is something that I know.